Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Nick.
I'm Vic.
And we're MV Board Gaming. Today we are reviewing and overviewing The Red Cathedral. It's a 1 to 4 player game. It is by Devere Games. The designers are Sheila Santos and Israel Sendero. Vic's going to go over how you play this game, and then we're going to come back with our thoughts and review.
All right, we are set up here for a 2-player game of Red Cathedral. The setup here for 2 players, I just took one of these 2 player setup cards to determine how the cathedral would be laid out. So I went with this one, but it can change up differently. So this cathedral here is on this side, and then we've got our dice area, our market over there. So in this game, there are 2 scoring tracks right off the bat that I'll mention. There's recognition points, which goes along the edge of the board, and then there is the prestige points, and those prestige points are the actual eagles, and they're a little harder to get, so they're worth more at the end. The recognition is just another thing you can get that kind of adds up to prestige. So in this game, whenever the game is telling you to gain or lose this cross symbol, they're referring to recognition instead of the victory point symbol, the prestige point symbol. So in this game, you're going to get to pick one action on your turn. So in this example, I have the red player board here in front of me, and you're going to get to do one of 3 things. So it's all written on the player board, which is nice. Number 1, A action is to claim a cathedral section. So you'll take one of your ribbons and you'll allocate it to one of the spots of the cathedral. Now you need to place it at the bottom. You can't place it at the top right away. You can never place your ownership ribbon in a spot that is above one that hasn't been claimed yet. So you would just go ahead and you would place that there wherever you wanted to claim. And this means when you're claiming it, you're committing to deliver these goods, so a piece of wood, 2 bricks, and a gold, to actually build this part of the cathedral. And if you do, you're going to get 4 coins and 8 recognition points on the scoring track. So you take that, you'll take the dice reward, and now you can choose if you want to place this out on your board here. And what that will do ultimately is when you take a dice from this area to get a resource, it will give you an additional benefit. So if I put the red chit here on the green space, anytime I use the green dice, I'm going to have the chance to use also where the red dice is. So in this case, I would take, I'll get into the movement of the dice, but wherever the red dice is going to be what I'm going to get there. If you're not able to, or you don't want to pay the cost on the board, then you can just discard the tile. So yeah, that's the first action, A. And the B action is that you are going to deliver up to 3 goods to a section that you've claimed on the cathedral. So you would only do this if you actually had goods, which go out on this ruler section kind of area, and it's depicting actually a limit to how many goods you can have, including your ownership ribbons. So you're going to want to get rid of those so you can free up some space. But at any one time, you can only have up to 10 items here. So you'll have those items in your storage before you would do a B action. But anytime you see this little wheel, they're referring to a delivery that you're doing out on the cathedral space. So this action would be simply delivering the goods to the spot. You can only do 3 at a time, so I wouldn't be able to complete this in one turn. I would have to do another one because there's 4 goods being asked for. But if I were to finish the delivery and satisfy the requirements, I would get my 4 coins and I would get 8 recognition points. And this would flip over and we would build out that part of the cathedral. Now, if I had built a spot, for example, above another person who didn't build their area, they would actually suffer a penalty for doing so. Anyway, C action is to acquire resources from the market. Now, this is the dice placement part of the game. In this part of the game, you'll simply grab a dice and you will move it according to the pips that are depicted on the dice. So if I take the green dice, I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, because it shows 4 on it. I would end up here. I would grab 2 coins right away because it's equal to how many dice I have. And because I used the green die and I already unlocked this red bonus die, I would also grab a gold because of it. because of the placement of the red dice and my little bonus here. Otherwise, if I didn't have that, I wouldn't get anything more. Then I can choose if I want to do the action that's shown on the corners here. Each quadrant of the circle has an extra bonus action you can do. So here I could spend 1 coin to make a delivery. So if I wanted to put something out on a claimed area, I could do that for a coin, or I could just get a coin. So you can do either or of the bonuses, but not both. And they show an instant thing, or it might show a different symbology to show it's like an ongoing thing, something you can do more than once. It'll sort of differentiate that for you. So yeah, that's what that looks like. And then you roll the die that you just moved and you put it back in the place that it landed. And those are the 3 main actions you can do in the game. There's anytime actions you can do where you can lose a prestige point for 2 coins. If you were in a pickle, you could do that. Lose as many of those as you want for a ratio of 2 coins per prestige point lost. You can lose a prestige point to re-roll all the dice if you needed to re-roll dice out on the market. Or you could spend a coin to move your white or your special player board die. In this case, it's the red dice because the red one has a special bonus. You would spend up to 2 coins to move it 2 more places. So the game is going to continue in this way, where you're going to take one of those 3 actions, and eventually people will have used or claimed all 6 of their ribbons. And when the person has built, when one player has completed the construction of their 6th cathedral section, the game is going to end immediately, and that player that completed that part is going to get 3 of the prestige points as a bonus, and then the end of the game is triggered. The other players get 1 final turn to do 1 last delivery or complete something, and then the game does end. And in the scoring, so in the 2-player game, you add up the value of the ownership of the towers. So this is sort of like an area control thing. You're trying to get the majority, an area majority. So ideally, you would add decorations out, or you would have built out different parts of this cathedral and added, little door pieces. You can add decorations, which are depicted, the costs are depicted right here, but that's part of the delivery action. And that adds ownership to the tower. So if you're the person who has built the most on each particular tower, you're going to score the total value of that tower. If you are in second place in the 2-player game, you would divide that by 3, and then the second place person would get 1/3 of those total points. If you're doing a 4-player game, you would add up the total of the towers, and the person with the majority gets the total, and you would actually take that total divided by 2, and the second and third place players, I believe, do get that bonus of half as their points for contributing to the construction. And that is how you play Red Cathedral.
There it is. Thank you for the teach, Vic. Now let's give our thoughts. What do you think? What are some pros and cons of the Red Cathedral?
Well, first off, really cool theme, beautiful game. Like the box looks so nice to me when I saw it. I thought that's really cute. I've always had a thing for those sort of cathedrals. Yeah, I like the look of the building that we're making. I don't know. It appealed to me. And I don't know, we set it out. I knew right away it was going to be like sort of a dice placement game. I could see the dice were going to govern some actions. I really like that mechanism. I enjoy moving the dice around, and that the puzzle of it, and the items you're going to receive. The quadrant actions are cool. I really like building the cathedral. I like claiming spots and having the opportunity to upgrade what the dice ultimately give you. There's a lot of choice in this game, and a lot of competition. Things really start to ramp up when you see other people building things, and you want to be part of the control, because there's like an area control aspect where you can see something being built out and you think, I'm going to put my decoration out, or I'm going to do that so I can secure, ownership, or at least part ownership of this tower. So really like how that plays out. I love the different decisions you can make, and yeah, altogether the game was really fun. Every time we played it at 2 and 4, I enjoyed it. So
cool. Okay, positives. Yeah, I like how it scales. I like that solo. I did a video on that solo. I like that 2 players. I like that 4 players. It really scaled very well. I love the resource management that Vic pointed to, with where you're moving the dice, getting the resources, or the recognition points, whatever it might be that you're getting there. I like the limitations of the cards that you're triggering off in the quadrants. Some people might want heavier, bigger actions or something more meaningful. I like that it's situational. I like that it's limiting. The tower, it's okay to me. The whole tower part, but it is cool. The actions, how they're simple they are. So an action could be just claim a part of the tower, as long as it's at the bottom or somebody is right below it. You can claim one of those quadrants or one of those cards of the tower. And the resources you need there, you can just deliver. That can be an action. You can deliver up to 3 things for an action. Again, really simple, really smooth, and streamlined game. There is not much negatives here. The tower can leave a little bit to be desired compared to the meatiness of your resource board, but it's not really negative to me. I think the game as it stands works really well it's really firing all cylinders in my opinion. The production is very good. You get a nice little box. I love that it is a good storage for us. And when we first started in board games, it wouldn't bother me. I would love to have bigger games. But now that we have so many games, this is really helpful. I like seeing games this size that pack a punch and have a bunch of great stuff in here.
Yeah.
They're not chintzy little cardboard pieces. They're nice wooden components. Cannot complain about anything in this box. I don't really care for the art. It's okay to me. I guess Fixit likes it more. I think it's just okay. It doesn't really pop to me.
Yeah.
Overall, I liked it a lot. Do you have any negatives though?
No real negatives to say, really. I think even the prestige points is interesting because it's some spots of the board. They it's more distance between. It takes more of these prestige points to equal the victory points. Hopefully I got that right. And so it's interesting because you can jump ahead in it. I really don't have anything bad to say about it. Obviously, it has its limitations. It's not like a huge, really heavy game. So if you're looking for something like that, that's not what this is. It's not going to scratch that itch. But it's nice to play out as like a filler game. Not even a filler game. I wouldn't call it that.
No, it's a medium.
It's a medium game, yeah. It's nice to bust that out in between really, really thinky games to also get to play this, but nothing too light. So I think it really has a nice purpose on many game nights for us. I think it serves a good purpose.
Just to clarify then, that there's 2 tracks. There's the recognition track is what you're calling victory points maybe, and then the prestige, which is more valuable. You can go farther.
That's
with the
what
prestige,
it was, yeah.
Which I like. I think it's fine, and it gets tighter the farther you are in that track. Because at the beginning, if you get a prestige, that's actually significant. That could be several recognition points. By the end, they're 1 for 1. Everything's 1. It gets really tightened at the end.
What did you think of the scoring at the end of the game?
Clunky.
Yeah.
A little bit.
That was, I guess, one of the negatives I could think of is it took a while for me to understand it. But now I kind of get it, and you can play better knowing how things are scoring at the end.
Yeah, it depends on the player count, too. When you start doing, like, in a solo I was doing, it's supposed to be the third. Like, I don't like that. Can't we do, I don't know, a third, rounded down or whatever it was. Like, that's a little off. Something seems a little off with that. But if that's the way it's going to be, that's fine. It's just not, for every player count, you have to remember or look up, what is the ratio I'm scoring the person that's in second? And that's what if it's tied? Okay, that's a little something to think about. I hate to dock it for that, but yeah, that is something to consider. But overall, I think the game is really great. I'm going to go ahead and give it a score. I'm going to give it an 8.6. 8.6, a really high score. And you knew I liked it because we have already done our top 100 games of all time, and 8.6.
8.6 as well.
I was curious. We both have it on our top 100 games of all time. And they were both in, I think, maybe even top 50. I think mine was 51. I think it just missed top 50. But they were both right there with games that also I scored 8.6, like Watergate is right there with it. So you knew it was right in that ratio. Cryptid, games of that ilk. That I really appreciate the design of, and I think this one it has to stay in our collection. It's such a small footprint, and we can get so much joy out of it at any player count, really up to 4. So it's easy one to keep and not even think about selling this one. This one's really good.
Yeah. Do you think that there's anyone that this game wouldn't appeal to? And not to put you on the spot, but do you think that this game would turn people off?
Yeah, people that like light games that are beautiful. How about that? I like light games with animals. Like,
that's true.
You go. You have a dry
game
game here that isn't necessarily that light. So if you're looking for some meat on the bones, this does have it. It does have meat in the bones, but it's not going to blow your mind or anything as far as how much complexity is there. You're looking at dice like, oh, what do I need? Do I have a dice that replicates that? You know, one other thing I like is the little tokens where you can put them on once you claim an area, and you can pay the coins to put it on your board in order to every
that's what I
time
was saying about
every time you
upgrade
move
dice.
those dice that you're going to get that bonus. I think that's a really good idea too. So there is definitely a decent amount to consider that makes it a great game.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel for more great reviews. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.